I knew things were bad when I saw my brother spitting up blood. At least that's what I remember. Maybe I imagined it, or maybe it happened, but it doesn't matter. Because that's the night Mahesh fell into a coma. It was December 21st, 1998. I knew then things would be different. I just didn't know how different. When the doorbell rang 15 days later, I knew what the news was going to be. That moment marked when my mom stopped living for herself and began living for me. Before that day, my mom had a life that was outside of my dad, brother, and me. She worked at JCPenney, and she was proud of it, earning her own money, having a community, taking pride in something outside of her parenting duties. Family drama and issues were replaced by work drama and issues, coworkers, customers, the stockroom. We'd hear about it, and it was nice to hear my mom complain about someone other than us. I had never heard of Petite Sophisticate or Talbots. After Mahesh passed, no more Talbots, no more Petite Sophisticate. In Indian culture, your life is your children. I never really paid attention to changes in my parents, particularly my mom, as I was growing up. She was just my mom, steady in her concern for us, speaking Tamil with my dad, English to us, unless she was mad. Then we got spoken to in Tamil. Maybe it's because I was so absorbed in what I was doing growing up that I didn't notice the two people who were making it possible for me to do all these things. It may seem trivial, but basic things which I had done on my own for such a long time, such as laundry and food, which I dealt with before my brother passed away, now my mom acted as if I were an infant and wanted to do all of these basic things for me. The conversation would go like this. My mom, I'll fold your clothes. Me, no, I got it. I don't want you to worry about it. My mom, no, I'll fold your clothes for you. Me, no, don't fold them. Cut to a pile of clean, folded clothes, none of which I folded. Imagine this scene repeated over and over until I moved out. Same thing with food. It got to the point where my students would ask, "What did your mom pack you for snack today?" They would always know when my parents went to India for the winter because I wouldn't be carrying a brown paper bag. My mom is different now. A worn-out anger has settled into her face. She refuses to smile. She's not different to me. I can do no wrong in her eyes. I'm not sure that would be the case if my brother was alive. Mahesh is her favorite. Parents aren't supposed to have favorites. Mahesh is her favorite. My mom talks about my brother only when she's sad or depressed. Mahesh was different, my dad likes to say. He was friends with everyone, easygoing, more extroverted than I am, and people flocked to him. She sometimes tells me she regrets babysitting our neighbors' kids or driving them to practice when we were growing up. But it was the expected thing to do, back when you actually knew your neighbors, more than the superficial hello if you're both getting the mail or shoveling the driveway. My mom says, I should have spent that time with Mahesh. My parents and I have no extended family in the US. All of my aunts, uncles, cousins, my recently passed grandmother, thousands of miles away in India. With my brother gone, they were worried I wouldn't have anyone to share my life with. My parents spent countless hours, time, and money on ridiculous Tamil matrimony sites that I had no interest in. I met my future wife at work, not on one of those sites. My mom made a point to turn on all the outside lights of the house on the day I brought my future wife home to meet them, an honor that was usually bestowed upon the important religious figures who would visit. Growing up, we ate dinner together at a round table filled with nicks and scratches of living. We watched Dan Rather's face on the small black and white TV. After Mahesh died, when I returned home for dinner, the round table sat empty, now a landing spot for mail, coupons my mom would cut but never use. We ate at different places and at different times. Later, my parents moved and bought a long wooden table for their kitchen, but we never ate there. I knew my mom cared about how this first introduction would go because when I entered after my wife, the new kitchen table, which had continued the tradition of being blanketed with mail and what seemed like an endless supply of Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, had given way to a proper tablecloth and 4 woven maroon placemats. It actually looked like people ate at this table. My dad wouldn't be eating in front of the TV that night. I wouldn't be eating standing up. And my mom would not be eating by herself at the kitchen island. We would finally eat together. That night, I watched my mom's face open up and brighten. It's hard to describe my mom, and you only know how she's feeling if she smiles. Otherwise, everything is fine. And we all know fine means nothing. My parents speak in Tamil to each other and in English to us, and we sit across from each other and talk. My mom calls her daughter-in-law daughter. It doesn't mean she has stopped missing Mahesh, but I know it's easier that there are 4 of us again.